Anti-abortion activists walked down Constitution Avenue in Washington, D.C. yesterday for their annual march. This year's march falling just days after the 40th anniversary of the Supreme Court's landmark ruling legalizing abortion, Roe versus Wade. Joining me now, Ryan Bomberger of the Radiance Foundation, who participated in yesterday's march. And we should note here that your perspective is quite unique. It's a personal perspective on the abortion debate. Your own mother was raped, chose to carry you to term. You were adopted by the family that raised you. Yesterday, we heard at the pro-life march that the movement itself, the pro-life movement, has become, quote, the new normal. Explain that for me, sir.
Well, you know, people see abortion as the human rights issue of our day. So when you're talking about an issue of injustice, you have so many people who are impassioned about fighting this issue, just like the issue of slavery. And so you have hundreds of thousands, like yesterday, who showed up in the freezing cold and were showing that they're passionate about this issue. They're passionate about the dignity of all human life.
Ryan, let's talk about that passion, because there's a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll came out this week, and it shows that 70% of those who were polled now say that they support Roe v. Wade, that it should not be overturned, and that more than 40% support legal abortions in this country. Doesn't public sentiment seem to be leaning toward pro-choice? Doesn't that make it the new normal?
Well, 41% of those also polled had no idea what Roe v. Wade was. And the poll itself actually lied in one of the questions, saying that Roe v. Wade established abortion as the right to abortion up to 3 months, but Roe v. Wade established abortion up to 7 months. So I'm not sure how much reliability we can put into a poll such as that because of its gross inaccuracy. And what we see from Gallup, for instance, is the same trend, where you do have the majority of Americans who are pro-life, who want to see pro-life protections in many places, perhaps not against all cases like mine, born as a result of rape, but I think Gallup poll is more reflective of the American public than the recent NBC.
So you don't think we are seeing a shift in sentiment in this country? Let me ask you about this group made up of Catholic clergy. They're called Faith in Public Life. They're urging pro-life, so-called pro-life politicians to also support the recent push in favor of gun control. They sent out this statement saying, in part, quote, "The defense of human dignity extends beyond protecting life in the womb. Gun violence demeans human life and tears communities apart." There's another march in Washington today. This one's called the 1 Million Mom March. It's in support of gun control. Do you agree that anti-abortion activist groups and politicians also have a moral commitment to also join the fight for stricter gun control?
Well, the pro-life movement is involved in so many different aspects of elevating human dignity. It's not just about the issue of protecting the life of the unborn and the innocent child. And when you look at that issue, if we're supposed to address every single issue that can be tied to the life issue, you look at the issue of slavery. We never would have abolished slavery if we had to worry about, home. We had to worry about healthcare. We had to worry about jobs and all those things. We were worried about the injustice of slavery, and there was a laser focus on the injustice of slavery. So some of these discussions are really distractions, because the injustice of abortion is worthy enough
of a lot of focus. The gun control debate is a distraction? Is that you're saying the gun control debate is a distraction?
I don't think the two are comparable. When you're talking about innocent life in the womb, I mean, if we're not willing to protect life in the womb, it devalues life after it comes into this world. So the issue of gun control, when we're talking about 1.21 million abortions a year, they're not the same thing. And one of the reasons why we launched TooManyAborted.com was to talk about how the epidemic of abortion in the black community, 60% of black pregnancies in New York City are aborted. 60%. More black babies are aborted in New York City than are born alive.
You questioned our numbers earlier. I'm going to have to question your numbers there. I have not seen that poll. But before I let you go, I do want to ask you one more thing. The bill under consideration in New Mexico that would criminalize abortions after rape as, quote, tampering with evidence. Are some states taking the fight too far?
The issue there is that you had Representative Catherine Brown, who wanted to protect women who are often forced into abortions by the rapists, and that's part of the discussion that's never had. We don't talk about how do we punish these rapists, how do we keep them from forcing women and young girls into these situations.
The women would potentially be sent to prison
No, that's a mischaracterization of the law. It's complete mischaracterization of the law. In fact, it was reworded so that it was unambiguous as to protect women. It says, in fact, that the mother of the child will never be prosecuted. So that's a mischaracterization. The issue here is that we talk about protecting women, and any measure that's ever put forward, any pro-life protection, is always fought vehemently against by the pro-abortion lobby. And they've shown themselves not to want to protect women and children in case after case. Kermit Gosnell in Philadelphia, same case, an abortionist for 10 years who was maiming and killing women, delivering babies alive and snipping their necks. But who spoke up for the women there?
Right.
The pro-abortion side didn't. So I think these mischaracterizations don't help inform the American public as to what's really going on with the issue.
March for Life. Ryan, thank you so much. We are out of time. I do appreciate you spending so much of your time with us on this Saturday, though.
Thank you, Craig. Appreciate it.